So hokey, we're recording this meeting tonight because we're doing some structuring. Mike, can you move, maybe you can move that chunk over and move over because you're blocking all these people.
Oh man, they don't need to see. They can watch the videotape.
I need to structure into this meeting. What the meeting is about is basically to try to bring structure, more structure into the mission. The mission's been going on for a year now, and when the mission began, we basically had 17 people that came together, and we named ourselves Missionaries to the Preborn and Prisoners. Of course, we dropped damn prisoners after about 3 months of not seeing any jail, and just became Missionaries to the Preborn. Besides that, we felt that it muddied our focus when people heard the name Missionaries to the Preborn and Prisoners. So at that point in time, it was like we all had a great vision, we all had a great goal and a great desire to rescue on a full-time basis, to target one killing center, to continue to rescue there every day that they kill children. And we really didn't know if it would last. We all wanted it to last. We all had the commitment in our heart for it to last, but we really had no credibility, no validity as an organization at all because we were simply starting out. Now that we've been around for a year consistently, we've had a killing center closed down. We're garnishing a lot of credibility and validity now. I mean, Mike Fote, his pastor, talked to him this week just out of the blue about supporting him as a missionary. They've never supported him as a missionary before. Ralph Overdall's pastor wrote something in their newsletter, which has never happened before, about the missionaries and about Bread and Roses closing, and really threw support behind the mission and declared all of us to be what we really are, missionaries. And now that we've been around for a year, we need to bring some structure into the mission. Another thing we thought was, when we started the mission, was that like in 2 months we'd all be in jail and be wiped out off the street. And we never dreamed that we would still be here being able to rescue on a full-time basis like we are. We figured we'd be standing with the children from behind bars and being a light and hope to the church and the community from there. So after a year, there's a real need to bring within the mission structure, requirements, accountability, and things like that. And that's what this meeting's all about tonight. Every mission that exists, I'm a missions major, so I know everything. Every mission that exists has requirements, has accountability, has rules, has a code that it runs itself by. Every religious order that exists has the same thing. And tonight we're making an attempt to bring structure to the mission so that we can do that. Also, I'm sure a year from now we'll be sitting down and bringing even more structure to the mission and even be making more changes at that point. The longer that we go on, the more we fine-tune what we're all about. So, without further ado, basically I have no rhyme or reason as to the order of these rules, other than that they were how I wrote them down as they came to mind. And basically me and Ralph and Mike Scott got together and hammered these things out along with Art Tomlinson. And this is the fruition of that, which you're about to hear tonight. And really what these things are for, the purpose of it isn't to give a bunch of list of do's and don'ts, because as you're going to see, it's really not a list of do's and don'ts. The purpose of it is to make our service to the Lord greater, to make our service to the mission greater, to make our service to the babies greater. And that's really what we need. And the things that you're going to hear tonight can basically, be your stepping stones to success or be your stumbling stones to failure. Everyone has to volunteer into agreeing to participate and do and live their life according to this code. And if they're going to be a missionary, missionaries to the Preborn. So let me just share with you some of the things. First off, I want to talk about the fact that there is a difference between married missionaries and single missionaries. There is no dichotomy or schism or anything like that that's trying to be developed between the single missionaries and the married missionaries. There is simply automatically a difference between a married missionary and a single missionary. Every single missionary that I've talked to here who has talked about getting married someday has said, when I get married, I'm going to quit the mission. So by virtue of that alone, by the words of your own mouth, you're admitting that there is a difference between a, is that my wife in the background? There is a difference between a married missionary and a single missionary. Most of the rules that you're going to be hearing tonight and code that you're going to be hearing tonight is going to be directed towards the single missionaries, not the married missionaries. Married people have all kinds of other responsibilities, like children to take care of, farms to run, churches to pastor, things like that. Spouses to enjoy. These types of things. Anyways.
So to get out of the rules, get married.
So to get out of the rules, simply find yourself a spouse. No, seriously, these are excellent rules, and it's for everyone's benefit, and you have to realize that it's for everyone's benefit. And I think you will once you see everything that's laid out. First off, there's going to be a wake-up time and a bedtime for the mission. One of the problems that there's been in the mission is people staying up till 1 and 2 in the morning and watching videos and playing rummy and things like this. And that's not good. It's not a disciplined life. It's not good habits. If you're up till 2 in the morning and you're up at 6 to go out and rescue, you're not together. I can guarantee you that, because I've seen it. And I've done it myself, and I know I'm not together. So every morning there will be prayer from 7 to 7:30. Every morning, except Sunday, there will be prayer. Now, 3 days a week we gather together to rescue, and we gather together to pray. We get it together at the flat and we pray from 7 to 7:30. So those days will be times of corporate prayer. The other 3 days that we're not together when we're rescuing, we'll still be praying from 7 to 7:30. So even though we're not together, we'll all be praying. It's going to be our rule of prayer within the mission. That 7 to 7:30 is given to a time of prayer. Another thing that we want to develop is we'd like to develop a prayer book for the mission, so that at times when we do have corporate prayers, we can pray prayers from a prayer group jointly. Some of you might think that's weird or strange or liturgical and you don't like that. But in reality, I've explained this before, if you're praying a prayer off the top of your head and you're really not directing it towards God, that's meaningless. And if you're just reading a prayer out of a book, that's meaningless. But if you're really praying a prayer off the top of your head and directing it towards God, that's meaningful. And if you're reading a prayer out of a book and you mean it and you're directing it towards God, that's meaningful. The book of Psalms is a prayer book. It's the only prayer book in the Bible that there is. And most prayer books consist of the Psalms. And we should be praying the prayers that God taught us to pray through David, who was after his own heart. And so one of the things we want to develop is a prayer book. And we'll be asking someone, or if someone wants to volunteer, to put a prayer book together. I know different rescue groups around the country have quite extensive prayers within some of their Psalter books that they hand out. Anyways, that'll be our time of prayer every day from 7 to 7:30, whether we're at the flat praying corporately or we're separate. We'll all be praying, and we can all know that we're all praying. Also, another thing, number 3, is that everyone needs to plug into a local assembly. You need to plug into a local assembly. I mean, if you want to jump around for a while and taste things and feel things out, that's fine. But eventually you need to plug into a local assembly somewhere. When you decide which local assembly you're going to attend, I will be contacting the pastor to see how you're doing and see how things are going and things like that. That has a value for two reasons. It gives me an opportunity to talk to the pastor and share with him about the mission. And it also lets him know that you're a missionary, and that'll benefit you in the long run too. The more that the pastor, whichever church you plug into, knows what you're doing and sees that there's credibility within the mission, that there are people that are concerned that this isn't just a bunch of people who are into some foo-for-ah coming together and doing their own thing. kind of uncohesively. Number 4, the men must be out of the flat at 8 p.m. There will be no men allowed at the flat after 8 p.m. We've had a problem with men being at the flat. I've heard about it time and time again. And at 8 p.m., every man must be out of the flat. The women need their privacy. That's where they live. I know it's our meeting place and our rendezvous site and everything like that, but we need to respect their privacy. So by 8 p.m., all men have to be out of the flat. Number 5, the lights are out at 11 p.m. for everyone. 10:30, radios, TVs are off. Spend your last half hour if you want to chat with somebody on the phone or chat with somebody you're staying with or read a book. Spend it that time. It's a bad thing to just turn off the TV and go to bed. It's not good for you. Even weird psychologists will tell you that. It's not a good thing. Why 11 p.m.? Every Bible college in the country has a curfew of 11 p.m. Most missions like YWAM, they have 11 p.m. curfew. If you're in the House of Corrections, you know what time you're going to bed? 11 o'clock. If you make any noise, you're going to the hole. So 11 p.m. is a fair time. If you're staying up past 11 p.m., you're just being rude to others. You know, we all have different sleep habits, and you know, especially for the women at the flat, and then some of you men, you know, there's 2 or 3 of you together, you can just really be bothering someone if you're staying up to 1 and 2 in the morning or 12 at night or something like that. So 11 o'clock, it's time to go to bed. At 7 o'clock, we meet at the flat in the morning. And girls over at the flat, that doesn't mean you're in your bedroom till 7:15. It means you're in the room ready to meet at 7 p.m. Not curling your hair or anything like that. 7 p.m. we're together. 7 a.m. Pardon me. And also, so a good time to get up to make sure that you're ready in enough time, you get up at 6 o'clock. Depends on how fast you are. But anyways, get up early enough so that you know that you can be there at 7 p.m., that you can be ready at 7 p.m. If you're going to bed by 11 o'clock, if you get up at 6 a.m., that's 7 hours sleep. That's pretty good. And if you need to go to bed earlier, praise the Lord, go to bed earlier. Monday night, number 6, Monday night, prayer. There will be prayer from 6:30 to 7:30 every Monday night like we've always been having. The new site for prayer at this point is Tarver's Place, Imperial, 64th and Capitol. We may be moving that as we continue to wait upon God and see what we're going to do. Right now we're just hitting different places, and the intent at this point is to do some recon work and spend some time in prayer and decide where we're going to go next before we target a place, a particular place. And of course, once we decide to target a particular place, that'll be the prayer site from 6:30 to 7:30. But in the meantime, we're just going to be meeting at Tarver's Place to pray. Number 7, we're going to have our weekly meetings are now being changed from Wednesday nights to Thursday nights. Every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. And our meetings are going to be much more streamlined. They are going to last no longer than an hour and a half at the most. There will be a half-hour teaching every night, either by virtue of videotape or with a local pastor coming in doing some teaching. We got some local pastors who we're lining up to come in and do some teaching with all the missionaries. 3 things you need to bring to each meeting: bring your journal, bring your legal file, and bring pen and a pad of paper. We all need to bring that.
That was 6:30?
Number 9. Number 9 is make a personal support brochure. I want to encourage you to do this. Some of you have seen the Peoples from Atlanta. Some of you have seen the one Wendy's made. You need to make a personal support brochure so that you can give it to people, so that you can raise your support, so that you're taken care of financially, so that you don't have to be fraught about your financial situation, and so you don't have to mooch off others, and so you can be taken care of and put yourself into the ministry that God's called you into full force without being all concerned about financial things. So everybody, I want to encourage you, take time out in your spare time to make up a personal support brochure. You have to understand, all missionaries have these, and you need to have one too, so that people can know about your ministry and people can support you. There's people who would like to be doing what you're doing but can't because of other commitments, and this is their way of being part of something that they would like to do but are unable to. They can support you in what you are doing. So you need to get your personal support brochure together. Number 10, we're planning on having like a basically a party every 3 weeks on either Thursday or Friday night, and this will be a time, you know, if everyone's up on their tasks and up on their studies. I haven't gotten to the studies yet that we're going to be doing, but if everyone's up on these things, we're basically going to have a time where we get together and have a good time, maybe see some videos, and just get together and have a great time of fellowship. Tell jokes, you know, watch our humorous videos where we mess with the abortionist and things like that. But that'll be like once every 3 weeks, but that'll be dependent on how people are doing. You know, number 11, this is totally irrelevant to everything, but I have it marked down here. On the 13th of October, we're all invited to a picnic at Robin White's. That's at 2 p.m. Everybody knows who Robin White is. He's with TV30. He's done a lot of video work for us. He did great stuff down at the Tollway video. He was out at the last mass rescue where 76 people were arrested 2 weeks ago. And he's a really good guy, and so I really want to encourage you to put it in your plans and take time out. They want to show hospitality towards us. They brought Dave back from Wichita, and we really, you know, need to, you know, spend some time having some fun and be able to get to talk with them and things. Number 12 is I wanted to talk about me not being on the site. Some people I know, either from hearsay or body language, get really bent out of shape when I'm not on the site every day that we rescue. Probably for about the first 10 months of the mission, I was probably on the site every time we rescued. But over the last few months, that's been changing, and what it comes down to is that you're just going to have to understand that. I, you know, have trips that I make. I have a wife that I need to spend time with. I have children. I have a church to pastor. There's a million things in directing the mission that have to be done. It takes a lot of time to write up our mailings and get them so that they're done right and look good. And there's just a million and one things to do. So you just need to understand when I'm not out on the site. In fact, when it comes to all the married people, you need to be understanding towards why they're not out on the site. Because there's just so many more responsibilities for the married missionaries, and should just really count our blessings for every married person that we have, which right now there's 5 of them, and 5 married missionaries. So I just want you to know that about me not being on the site, that there should be no attitude. There shouldn't be any type of attitude or anything like that, because we all have our different roles to play. Also, we're establishing a chain of command so that we have roles defined in this way. So you know what the situation is. I am the director of the mission. My responsibilities as director of the mission is to direct the mission. What that entails, I've never had the nerve to sit down and write it all out yet. Better yet, I've never had the time to sit down and write it all out yet. But I'm going to do that. Basically, I have top oversight over the mission and the direction it's taking and blah, blah, blah. Second in command is Ralph Ovidal. Ralph's job is, he's like the on-site general. I mean, he's in charge. I mean, even when I'm out at the site now, since I've been missing quite a bit over the last 3 months, I just defer to him. He leads the rescues out on the site. He also has oversight over the direction of the mission when I'm in absence, whether jail or whatever. out of town, that type of thing. The third person in the chain of command is Pastor Mike Scott. Pastor Mike won't be leading rescues out on the site, but his position primarily, other than being third and having oversight over the mission and the direction and everything like that, is that he is meeting with pastors. And we need to be in prayer for him, because these pastors that he's meeting with are really the seedbed for the future of the mission. I've heard a lot of good things about the meetings he's had with pastors. He's degoblinized us to several people and been able to explain to these pastors exactly what the mission is all about, what our purpose is, how we operate, blah, blah, blah. And also, he's been able to garnish financial support for the mission from a couple of churches so far. And we're working on a clergy rescue for next spring also. So these are important. What he's doing is very important. He's also the seed that's being planted. So that's his role within the mission. Also, within the mission, we're establishing 2 new functions, which we had talked about in the past, but we never implemented or really put into action or followed through on, which was totally my fault. Because, see, my leadership style in the past has always been one of, I have a very hands-off type leadership style. Go do what you want. You're an adult, I'm an adult. I got my business to do, you got your business to do. And the reason I'm that way in a lot of ways is because when I was younger, about 7 or 8 years ago, I was the victim of a very manipulative, tyrannical type of a pastor. And so in responding to that, I never want to do anything to make people seem like, you know, oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, fine. Well, I want you to do it anyways. I never want to be that way or anything. And it's really been a detriment to certain people within the mission, because there is a need for discipline and there is a need for structure, and that's what we're trying to establish at this point. And I've made that decision within myself to change my leadership style when it comes to that, and to follow through to make sure that the structure is established and is backed up for everyone's benefit. And I mean, all this stuff is to our benefit in the mission, so that we can be, as one police officer said, a well-oiled machine. And we can be as highly productive for the cause of Christ that we can. So what we're doing is Mary Lynn is going to have oversight over the single women, and Jim Soderna will have oversight over the single men. And basically what their role is going to be is those 2 people. If you're a single woman, you will be reporting to Mary Lynn. If you're a single man, you'll be reporting to Jim Soderna. And everyone will be receiving a task at the end of the meeting tonight, which will be like your task, and these tasks aren't permanent. They'll probably be changed around once every month or 2 months. And some of them will be permanent, but most of them will be changed around. And also, they will just be giving other tasks, because we will be having weekly staff meetings, me, Mike, Ralph, Mary Lynn, and Jim. And we'll be meeting together weekly to be able to chat with one another, and then they will be having additional tasks that need to be done, because the task that you're given to do is like your little baby. That won't be enough to keep you busy in between rescues. And there's a million things that always need to be done, and this way you'll have something to do. They'll give you the thing to do. They'll also be the ones you report to when it comes to your breaks and other things, which I haven't gotten to yet. And so as we get to them, you'll see more of what their role is when it comes to the mission. Another thing I want to talk about, number 14, to vent grievances. If you have grievances, you need to either talk to Jim Soderna or Mary Lynn or Ralph or Mike or me. Whoever you feel most comfortable with is obviously the person you'll want to go and talk to. If you have grievances, you think things aren't good, rather than grumble about it, go and have some productive conversation with one of those people. We'll then talk about it at our staff meeting and get it taken care of, and get it worked out, and get something established if something needs to be established, get a policy made if a policy needs to be made, get things on course if things need to get on course. We always follow Matthew 18 in this mission. We always have from the beginning. If you have something against someone or someone has messed you over, you go to that person. You don't run to anyone else. You go to that person first and talk to the person. You know, I'm a real stickler when it comes to that type of thing. And so really, just go and talk to the person. If you talk to the person and it persists, you know the pattern of Matthew 18, just follow it. Another thing also is if you're having problems with me or anything like that, and you know, I know it's easy to feel intimidated by the person who's in leadership, because I know how I used to feel intimidated. If you feel intimidated, there's two people, you know, to talk to me personally, there's two people you should talk to, either Ralph or Mike Scott, and go and talk to them and just share your feelings, and then they can talk to me. And if ever there's anything that just, this is a case, you know, like he was saying, what would you all do if tomorrow you found out that Matt was committing adultery? Would you still continue to rescue? Anyways, I brought that up simply to say, if you have something against me or an allegation or something like that, this is the way to take care of it. I mean, this isn't a church, so there isn't elders to go to. So basically the elders of the mission, so to speak, would be Mike, Scott, and Ralph, and they would be the person you would want to go talk to. This way everything's defined, everyone knows how these things work, okay? Everyone understands? That way you don't have any confusion in your mind, you don't have to allow things to build up and build up. Breaks. Everyone will receive 30 days off a year. 30 days off a year as a missionary and missionaries to the Preborn. Now, the person, if you're a married person, you can just talk to me. If you're a single male, you want to go and talk to Jim Sedurna. If you're a single female, you want to go talk to Mary Lynn. They will have calendars, which they will be keeping track of who wants days off when. Your days off have to be approved before you get your days off, simply because they'll be coming to me, especially if it's a large segment of time, and saying, is it okay if this person takes this time off? Because as things are being looked at for the future, we might have something big planned right when you want to take some time off, and we might ask you, could you take some time off a different time rather than this time? And that'll be real flexible, and it can be, you all know that I'm not hardcore on that. It's like you need time off, you need time off. We are asking, though, that you take it in at least 3-day segments, these 30 days. I mean, if you want to take 30 days, fine, take 30 days. If you want to take 3 days here, a week there, 4 days there, that's fine too. But all we ask is that you give a 1-week notice, at least a 1-week notice, prior to the time that you need time off. Mike? Wait. Any questions, write down on a piece of paper and save your questions to the end, and then we'll be answering all the questions. That way I can go through the whole thing. I forgot to mention that before we started. Okay, that deals with breaks. 30 days off a year. Number 16, helping out at host homes. When you're staying at someone's house, you need to show respect for them, okay? You need to help out around the house. You're not just there to be an ornament. You're not some special person who, aren't you great, and I should be pampered and catered to. No, when you stay at someone's house, you should be helping them out with their housework, with things that they need to be done, maybe watching the kids if they have kids. These are things that you need to do. And we've had people stay at our house for lengthy times, and I've stayed at others' house for lengthy times. And the tendency is this: the first 3 weeks you're at somebody's house, well, for some people it's the first 3 hours they're at somebody's house. You know, they act real nice, they're willing to help out, anything I can do, you know, this type of thing. And then in no time flat, it's like they're a couch potato. We're getting waited on hand and foot, not doing anything, not being helpful, and things like that. And we need to really guard ourselves. You really need to guard yourself and slap yourself in the face, look in the mirror, slap yourself in the face, whatever you do to get a hold of yourself and realize this is not a good thing, what I'm doing. And really show respect and appreciation for the people you're staying with. Me and my wife had Eric staying here for 4 months, and I can appreciate dearly a person who lets other people stay in their house for a long length of time. And really, you need to really respect people who are, you know, kind enough to show hospitality like this. Another thing, accountability. There will be accountability within the mission. The accountability will not be this type of thing. It won't be any of this, if you don't do this, then X happens. I'm not going to get into that silly little game of, okay, you didn't do prayer from 7 to 7:30 today. Go wash the kitchen floor with this toothbrush, you know? I mean, that's a little trite to me. What it's going to come down to is if people do have a bad attitude or do have bad habits in getting their tasks done and being involved in what all is entailed in being a missionary with Missionaries to the Preborn, me and you will have a one-on-one personal talk.